St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, is one of the most celebrated figures in Christian history, credited with bringing Christianity to the Irish and becoming a symbol of Irish identity. While much of his life is shrouded in legend, historical records, combined with his own writings, provide a glimpse into his remarkable journey. His story spans from his early years in Roman Britain to his missionary work in Ireland, where he faced numerous challenges but left an enduring legacy. St. Patrick, born around 385 AD, though exact dates are uncertain, was likely named Patricius at birth. He hailed from a Romanized family in Britain, possibly in a region near modern-day Wales, Scotland, or northwestern England. His father, Calpurnius, was a deacon and a minor local official, and his grandfather, Potitus, was a priest, indicating a Christian upbringing in a time when Christianity was still taking root in the Roman Empire. Despite this, Patrick in his youth was not particularly devout, describing himself as negligent of religion in his later writings. At the age of 16, Patrick's life took a dramatic turn when he was kidnapped by Irish raiders. These raiders, likely from the western coast of Ireland, attacked his family's estate, capturing Patrick and bringing him across the Irish Sea into slavery. He was sold into servitude in Ireland, where he spent 6 years tending sheep, possibly in the region of County Antrim or Mayo. During this time of hardship and isolation, Patrick turned to prayer and faith for solace. In his autobiographical work, The Confessio, he describes how he prayed hundreds of times a day, finding strength in his newfound relationship with God. After 6 years in captivity, Patrick experienced a vision in which a voice told him his ship was ready for escape. Trusting this divine guidance, he fled his master and traveled roughly 200 miles to a port, possibly on the east coast of Ireland, where he found a ship bound for Britain. Despite initial resistance from the crew, Patrick convinced them to let him board, and after a perilous journey involving near starvation in a foreign land, possibly Gaul, he eventually returned to his family in Britain. This escape marked a turning point in his life, cementing his faith and setting him on a path toward religious service. Back in Britain, Patrick dedicated himself to religious study, likely training for the priesthood. In his Confessio, he recounts another vision, often referred to as the Vision of the Irish, where he saw a man named Victoricus delivering him a letter titled The Voice of the Irish. In this vision, the Irish people called out to him, begging him to return and walk among them once more. This experience convinced Patrick that his mission was to bring Christianity to Ireland, a land then dominated by pagan Druidic traditions. Patrick's return to Ireland as a missionary is traditionally dated to around 432 AD, though some scholars debate the exact timeline. He was not the first Christian missionary to Ireland. Others, such as Palladius, had preceded him, but Patrick's efforts were the most impactful. Likely ordained as a bishop before his mission, he arrived with a small group of followers, tasked with spreading the gospel in a land where Christianity was still a minority faith. Patrick's approach to evangelization was pragmatic and adaptive. He understood the Irish culture and used it to his advantage, incorporating local customs into Christian teachings to make the new faith more relatable. For example, he is said to have used the shamrock, a three-leafed plant native to Ireland, to explain the concept of the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, to the Irish people. While this story may be apocryphal, it reflects his strategy of bridging pagan and Christian beliefs. His missionary work was not without challenges. Ireland at the time was a patchwork of warring tribes and kingdoms, each ruled by local chieftains. Patrick faced opposition from Druid priests, who saw his teachings as a threat to their spiritual authority. One famous legend tells of his confrontation with the Druids at Tara, the seat of the High Kings of Ireland, during the festival of Beltane. Patrick is said to have lit a paschal fire on the Hill of Slane, defying the Druidic tradition of extinguishing all fires before the king's ceremonial blaze. When the Druids failed to extinguish Patrick's fire, the story goes, it symbolized the triumph of Christianity over paganism. Patrick traveled extensively across Ireland, baptizing thousands, ordaining priests, and founding churches. He focused on converting chieftains and their families, knowing that their influence would encourage wider acceptance of Christianity. He established key ecclesiastical centers, such as the church at Armagh, which later became the ecclesiastical capital of Ireland. Patrick also worked to integrate Irish converts into the broader Christian world, ensuring they adhered to Roman practices while allowing for local adaptations. His efforts were not without personal risk. Patrick faced threats of violence, imprisonment, and even death. In his Confessio, he mentions being captured and held for 60 days at one point, likely by hostile tribes or Druids. Despite these dangers, he remained committed to his mission, driven by a deep sense of divine purpose. Patrick is believed to have died around 461 AD, though the exact date and location are uncertain. Tradition holds that he died at Saul, near Downpatrick in County Down, where he had founded his first church. His burial site is traditionally associated with Down Cathedral in Downpatrick, where a stone slab marks his supposed grave. After his death, Patrick's legacy grew through hagiographies and legends that elevated him to mythic status. The life of St. Patrick by the 7th century monk Muircheartaigh embellished his story with tales of miracles, such as driving all snakes from Ireland, a metaphor for his role in eradicating paganism. While many of these stories are symbolic rather than historical, they reflect the profound impact Patrick had on Irish culture and identity. Patrick's writings, the Confessio and the Letter to Coroticus, offer a rare glimpse into his personality and mission. The Confessio is a spiritual autobiography defending his work against critics, while the Letter to Coroticus condemns a British chieftain for enslaving Irish Christians, revealing Patrick's fiery sense of justice. These texts portray a humble, determined man who saw himself as a servant of God. St. Patrick's Day, celebrated on March 17th, the traditional date of his death, has become a global phenomenon, symbolizing Irish heritage and culture. In Ireland, it evolved from a religious feast day into a national celebration, while in places like the United States, it became a way for Irish immigrants to assert their identity. Parades, green attire, and shamrocks are now hallmarks of the holiday, though they trace back to Patrick's missionary symbolism. Patrick's life represents a bridge between the Roman and Celtic worlds, blending Christianity with Irish traditions in a way that endured through centuries of change. His legacy as a missionary, cultural icon, and symbol of resilience continues to resonate, making him one of the most enduring figures in Christian history. While the legends surrounding him are numerous, the core of his story, a man who overcame hardship to spread faith and unity, remains a powerful testament to his impact.
Thank you for joining us. Please take a moment to interact, like, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you more stories of some of history's most influential figures. Comment down below with who you'd like to see next from our humble little library. Take care until then. See you next time here at Atlas Embers.